little groove on, get our energy going for this afternoon. Hey, everybody, welcome back. We are with our next sponsor live as part of the 2024 Makers Retreat, and I have a special guest for you today. So originally on the lineup was Eileen Hull, and she was going to be bringing in the Jewel Loom. But on top of that, we have another amazing special guest that joined us, which is the creator of the Jewel Loom herself, Juliana. So welcome both of you. We have Eileen and Juliana in the house.
I'm so glad you're here. I just got the word when I hopped on. I'm like, what is she doing here? This is great.
I know. You're like,
where's she? Yeah. Little surprise.
There's a blonde in the background. No, I'm so stoked. I woke up this morning and was drinking my coffee, and I came across Aaron and Anne. And so I just kind of chimed in as I was waking up, and then Aaron, mentioned this.
I was like, you've got to be on.
Oh yeah,
you're already on. You're like, you're at home. I can tell you're at home. You're doing this thing. You've got to be in here. And so
yeah. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I love.
One thing for saying yes to jump on.
Yeah, so cool.
Very nice.
So I'm going to give Jules the floor for a minute to explain who she is and what is this Jewel Loom thing that we've been chit-chatting about for the past little while. So Jules, Juliana, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the words, you said your brain wasn't working. Well, my mouth is not working right now. So Juliana, you have the floor.
Oh, you're so sweet. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you again to Aaron for inviting me in. And of course, Eileen, I love you both. Such creative powerhouses. Hey, listen, I've been around for a hot minute, probably a good 30 some odd years in the creative industries. I had a big stint in paper crafting for a long time. And I always have been a weaver. And so back in 2010, 2011, I think it was, maybe even 2012, I started the process of having my own bead loom developed. And so you may have seen it, you may have heard of it, the Blue Jewel Loom. This is a product that I invented. I have the US patent on it. US 676,879 to be exact.
And how many times have you had to write that or say that to have that memorized at this point? That's pretty impressive.
I just decided to really own it. Like, a lot of people were like, Jules, do you know how exciting that is? And at first I was like, yeah, it's cool, but I didn't realize like how cool it was. And so, yeah, so I do have that. So I manufacture this loom with Beadalon, who is a big company in the creative arts industry. They're very well known for their jewelry making supplies. And so, yeah, so from, and of course, a big, huge truck is just going to come park itself outside my window right now.
I was like, oh my God, I was in my ear.
What is that?
I thought we were having like feedback issues. Okay, no, it's a truck.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Anywho, so from the original Jewel Loom that came out in 2013, and by the way, it won most innovative product back then for the craft and hobby industry. I then introduced the Weaving Goddesses, that's what they were known as at that time, on jewelry television in November of 2019. And that was really exciting. And then from there, I guess the next loom birthed in 2021. And that was the large, where's she at? She's somewhere. There she is. The large Wisdom Warrior, which does chokers, necklaces, things like that. And by the way, these girls, they do like a lot of big weaving. Like, you see the pieces behind me?
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, from there, just like a lot of things started to evolve, a lot of different looms. And then with Bella Craft earlier this year, with Bella Con, when Anne invited me to be a part of it, and I knew Eileen was going to be there, and Eileen and I go way back, and I thought, I want to do something special for her. And I said, Anne, do you think she's going to be mad if I make a loom and I put her name on it? I didn't even ask her. I was just like, I'm going to roll the dice. And if she gets mad, we've been friends long enough that she'll be like, Jules, you crossed the line. But she was happy, and it was well received, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's so very well made. It's a really, really sturdy loom. It's made here in the United States out of a sustainable Baltic birch product. A lot of love goes into it. Our partners in Missouri make the looms, and they do such a beautiful job. And so the whole idea with the Eileen loom was to really introduce the paper crafter to this idea of adding, woven pieces to their projects. And so you may or may not know, but I'm the crazy person who in 1990, in the 1900s, was
You're not wrong. It is the
I was in the
1900s.
late 1900s when I introduced artistic wire.
The last millennium, a millennium ago.
Yes. So I actually brought artistic wire into the industry, and then scrapbooking was all the rage. And I was like, these women need to know about wire. And so I brought the artistic wire into scrapbooking, and we had a ton of fun with that. And so it was kind of similar. It was like, you know what, paper crafters need to know about weaving. So who better to have as my baby mama? But Eileen, we've worked together before at Sizzix. And so, we had a working relationship, and we know each other's, ways of how we get things done. And I'm just thrilled. I'm really excited. I love that community. And in return, the jewelry community is also has been ordering the loom and playing with it. Perfect for smaller projects. I love, love, love the idea of, the like an adornment for a card or a bookmark or a journal bind decoration. And we did this little piece at BellaCon with the little, loop-de-loops. This was like a little bit more of an advanced situation going on here, but lots of fun. Really, you know what? I always say, if it ain't moving, it's fair game. Slap it down. And so, so you could do, the length on it is not really, by the way, always have 50 bazillion sewing tape measures around. Let's see. This one's got, I think, 6 inches, I think.
I think it's 6 by 1.5. Oh,
yeah.
6.
So 6.5 inches.
I keep mine in little circle ones so I can have them handy. Yes, I like doing this with them.
Well,
I've got these all over the place in my craft space.
If Sizzix is watching, they're probably going to freak out. I still have mine from, we're talking again, the 1900s. But, and then it's got a smaller, smaller width. If you have a really little boo-boo wrist, you might be able to do a bracelet, but that was not its intention. Its intention was for smaller things for paper crafting. But by all means, you could play around, and you could probably whip up a pair of earrings or a pendant if you wanted to do something and add it to your, your card, like for a gift. I mean, there's just so many ideas.
Mm-hmm. But don't you think it's also a little bit of kind of like that's an introduction size to learn how to before you go in and jump into the bigger one? So it's kind of like your foot in the door for the loom in a way.
Yeah, definitely. It's the
not so overwhelming
entry. Yeah, it's perfect. And I've got girls from, that I've met through Eileen, who are privately messaging me. Actually, they were at your retreat, and they're telling me like how, they're addicted. Thanks a lot. I'm like, oh, you're
sorry. Enabler over here.
Right? Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. But
it's also, we want to spread the love of what's fun and amazing. And if one person loves it, another person's going to absolutely love it. And you never know what your next favorite project is going to be until you try it.
Yeah.
So,
and weaving is such a soulful, healing rhythm of, I've always referred to it as when you're building your base, when you're doing your warps on your loom, when you're taking your material and you're going up and down, that's your foundation, right? That's the foundation to the story, to, maybe what you're feeling. And then everything that you're weaving in back and forth, right? It's like the bits and pieces of whatever that experience is, or, you know, the words. It's just it's so interesting when you teach in person too, because people tend to quiet down when they start to weave.
I don't know. We were a pretty giggly mess at our
There
event.
you
I
go.
don't think we were super.
That could have been
We
the
also
other
had some wine and
things
cocktails
that we
happen
had
at the
to
same
drink.
time.
Oh, well then, yeah. Who's going to be quiet then? But yeah, you know, there's tons of education. Eileen and I have been on now a few times with her Loom, and have played around with it and made some things, and we're both here for the community to answer questions and to help you better understand how to warp and how to weave, and really, you know, those are the two things, right? Warping, weaving. And then I think the other big thing for people, well, I know, the other thing is really like, how do you finish?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
That's always like, well, what do I do? How do I finish? How do I take it off the loom? And I'm actually starting a series today at 4:00 Pacific Standard Time on my YouTube channel, the Jewel Loom channel, to do back to the basics. And so I will be using the original Jewel Loom, the blue one that I showed you, but you'll be able to understand, I believe anyway, how to translate that into any one of the looms, whether it be Eileen's or, you know, the rest of them.
Makes sense.
But
So we're going to give you a little taste test of what Eileen's Loom is about, and some ideas of what kind of fibers and fabrics and things like that, and how to dye your own fabric. We're going to get a little bit into that. And then later on, and Eileen's like, oh crap, what did I decide to do? We had a whole conversation. I'm gonna spill all the tea while we're on here today.
Why not?
But if you want to get even more detailed information about how the Jewel Loom works, so I'm Central Time, she's Pacific. So Pacific 4:00. So therefore Central Time, it was going to be 6:00 because we've been going off the Central Time for the retreat. If you're Eastern, that would be 7:00. And I'll let everybody else figure out the rest of their time zones on their own on that. So you can definitely, for all of our retreat members, jump over and check out that if you're wanting to learn more about how the loom works and some techniques and ideas, and going back to some really good basics. So I will put the link to her YouTube channel in the retreat Facebook group. So that way you guys can jump over and catch her in a couple hours. So you have plenty of time to watch this, and then our next class after that. And then you can go watch her video later on today and ask her more questions. So
yeah, no, super stoked. I'm really, thank you, Erin. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's just so cool. I love the paper crafting community, and I just adore you, you know, when I met you. And then this last show, when I watched your YouTubes that you did on the show, and I was just like, she's
oh, thank you. I remember the first time I met you, we were going to the dinner. We were in Columbus, Ohio, and we were all crammed into that tiny, tiny little Italian restaurant.
Yes.
We had this itty bitty little table, and we had to fit like 30 people around it. And Jewel goes up and she's like, Erin. I'm like, hi. And we were all like sardines in this. It was fun because it felt very intimate, even though there was a lot of us. The food was really good too. It was a fun night. And then I think we were walking back and we came across the furries, or by the Rocky Balboa. Or no, it was a Schwarzenegger statue or whatever it was.
It was a good night.
We could tell.
It was a good night. I do remember all of that.
The stories we have behind the scenes and all these crazy crafty adventures we go on.
What happens at the trade show? Stay at the trade show.
Wait.
Oh, yes. Wait a minute.
Little inside joke. I gotta poke a little fun here. So I'm gonna go close up picture so we can see what we're doing. At our in-person retreat, we had a ton of fun. So Eileen, do you want to hold it up so we can see what we're all goofing around about? Yeah. So if you saw any of my Instagram stories or Eileen's goofball stories, and some of them got shared with other people, we had these tiny little hands. And I went to my daughter's school last night and they were giving out fun swag, and I came across my tiny hand.
Oh.
So I have mine now.
I have to go find some now.
I think so. I could send you one of these. We'd be the perfect pair.
So these are the shenanigans that we get up to. We are just a goofy group of ladies. And if you come to any of our events or my events, or if you bump into me, I'm just a big goofball. So what you see is what you get.
And it's good stuff.
Thank you.
It is good.
All right. So Eileen, for those, and we heard Jules' side of the story.
I know.
But somehow I remember a portion of the story coming out that had something like something just arrived at your house and you opened it up and you're like, what the? Isn't there a story that goes along with that about this particular
There
loom?
is. There also was, I should have gotten the clue because I was driving home from New York one time from my mom's and I got a call from Anne and Juliana.
I can't not laugh with the finger in the hand.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay, I gotta put myself on mute so I won't laugh over this.
Making a little jewel thing with this.
Oh my God.
But anyway, I got a call from them and they were on video call. I couldn't do it because I was driving. So I'm listening to them talking. It was kind of hard to hear. And they're saying like, yeah, that would be good. Don't you think, Eileen? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm thinking when I get home, I'm going to write to Anne and say, what were you talking about? And so I get this message from Juliana and she's like, can you send me your logo? And do you have like a quote that you like that you use? And I'm like, I'm not sure what this is, but I sent it. You know, I had a list of stuff. I just did it. And then I got the package in the mail. I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had the loom. And then I'm like, I have never woven before besides a pot holder when I was in Girl Scouts, you know? So, you know what was cool about it though? It makes you be creative.
Yeah.
Like you're just looking at a tool and you're like, how would you work this? Luckily, right after I got it, we had the Bellicon event and I got there and I got to see Juliana in action. So then I kind of got the basic idea.
Yes, you did.
And then I kind of thought about how would that work for what I do, you know, because we all do different things. And also I was very happy because I have a large collection of beads, which I pick up everywhere because they're pretty and fun. And,
yes.
you know,
I might have enabled a little bit of that at the retreat too. Sorry.
Yes. Well, we did that. We visited a bead store and all spent tons of money and, you know, thinking of the future projects, but now I can actually use them. And I have a couple to show. This is my latest, and it is like a little friendship bracelet, actually.
Oh,
I have some tips on how to extend the length of the string. And so anyway, what I was going to do today was I was trying to figure out whether I should do the dyed seam binding, and I decided not to. And then I talked to Erin.
She had to.
I've been mentioning this to people, so we're going to do that.
You told me you were doing it, and then I told everybody in the class today. Guess what Eileen's doing today? You're going to learn this cool thing. If you've got some seam binding and some reinkers, you're going to learn this really cool, fun technique. You got to join. And then she's like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, nuh-uh.
Well, no, it's not that I didn't want to. It was like, I don't know if I have enough time because it takes a little while to go over the actual.
We're going to show the process
yes.
at the end of the video, but it will not show it to completion because it takes time to dry. So we're going to show you the how to get there.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. And I think I do have another video on my YouTube channel on if you want to see. So, okay.
If not, then there's a future video for you to make down the line.
Do a separate one. Yeah. So let's see. Well, maybe we'll just get going if that's all right.
Yeah.
So turn my camera down.
Flip your camera around, and I'm going to give you full screen here when she's ready to flip her camera around. The joys of lives. And Jules, if I know you've got your live coming up here shortly, so if you need to take off at any time to get yourself prepared, because she's got to get herself prepared. Whenever you need to pop off, you can pop off. But thank you so much. I'm going to preface this now because we're going to jump into her tutorial. Thank you so much for joining and jumping in on and being a fun surprise guest at our retreat. That was so much fun.
Thank you, ladies, so much. I love you. Have fun, and I'll see you.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
All right. I thought before we get started, you may be wondering why we need a loom for a book. You know, what would you use it for? So I thought, and what Anne and Juliana thought was they would look great on a book cover. So this is just some, I call it ribbon yarn. I don't know the real name of it, but it comes on a skein, but it looks like ribbon. So if you can see here, that's like one, string of it. So I just wove it on my loom, and I took it off, and then I wrapped it around the inside of the book, and I tied it, and there's like a little braid and a tassel. It's kind of fun. So that's one way. And then here's another one I did. I got into the actual beading part. So I used just beading for my binding here. And I have my actual book binding, but I glued it on top, and I think it's really pretty. So this is the notebook journal, the notebook die. So this is what it looks like. So I cut it out of mat board, and then, decorated it later with the book binding. And this one is another version of that same book. And this one I decoupaged with napkins, and I did some inking here. And then I wove some beads, and then I interspersed it with fabric strips from, I don't know what, I think it was an old shirt. So I just tore it. So there's little, ragged pieces. I like it. I think it's really pretty. So there is a little counting that you need to do when you're doing it to a specific size. But I thought that I would just get on and show you basically how to string it. Here's a couple more samples. This is a bracelet that I made from a strap of leather, and then I beaded it, and that's some fibers that I wove in, and then you just, it's hard to do with one hand, but you just snap that on. So there's that. And then I haven't decided what all I want to do, but if you like knotting or macrame, you can come up with, I'm sure, some pretty cool creative finishes with the strings that are left. But if you don't want, you can just tuck them behind and glue them down on something. Or if your weaving is good, you can use both sides. This one has a knot, so I work with really long strands, but it's up to you. I probably could have hidden that better. But this is chenille rainbow yarn, which I think is just so pretty. I love it. This is what we're going to make tonight, and my desk will be a giant disaster. This is seam binding, which I dyed with just re-inkers from Catherine Pooler. And then I tied them off and just made like a little, this could be anything really. This could be a book binding. It could be a bookmark. It could be like a belly band for a journal. It could just be a pretty adornment for the front of your journal. So it's almost like once I do one, I have to think about what is the best way to finish that and place it somewhere. So still thinking on them. This one
People are commenting that they see purple, Eileen.
I have to. It's the rainbow. I would, Leslie, but I had to do it. This one does not have purple, but these are pretty beads that I got from Elizabeth Robinson on my team, and she gave them to me when I was in the UK. Or no, I was in the UK, and then I went on a cruise. So I did this on the boat with some. This is a yarn that I got from Shetland. So you can use all kinds of different materials. And like I was showing Juliana, this is one. I did this the other day. And actually, if you tied this, I have plenty of room to, I'm trying to figure out a good closure, but I kind of like that little braiding strip and a little tassel here. So, this could be anything too. I could wrap this around the binding of the book, or even just like that. It's just pretty. And plus it's fun to do. And then this was an experiment in working with leather. And this one, I don't know why, but it kind of started twisting as I worked. It must have been the pressure. I'm not sure. But you're going to find that you're going to have all kinds of different experiences with different materials. And this one, I just kind of put some beads on here. So anyway, those are just a couple samples, but I want to show you what the loom looks like. You kind of saw from Juliana. And it comes with the loom itself, the little comb that you can use to kind of push your fibers up when you're working on them. And then this is my favorite. This is the needle that says it's not perfect, but that doesn't bother me. My motto. All right.
That's a great motto. I think any creative needs to have that motto. It's
Yeah.
okay that it's not perfect. It's okay that it's not.
Right.
And
Maybe-
sometimes when you don't go perfect, it goes in a new direction. And you're like, ooh, I never would have thought to go that way, or I didn't think that that would look the way it is. And you like it better
Right.
than what you imagined in your head.
Yeah,
So
sometimes.
I love it.
All right, so here's some beads that I'm going to work with today. So I'm going to put these things aside. This is when we're going to work with the beads. This is the string that I use to do the warp. I'm still getting used to these terms. So maybe I'll move this down a tiny bit. Just have to remember why that is doing that. I get this weird shading, so anyway, what I'm going to do is just tie this cording, and this is a 1 millimeter cord. You can also use, which I forgot to show you, you can string it with, let me just show you now before I get going on this. Here are a couple that I kind of have in progress. And this is one that I did with wire. So you can string beads on wire. And I think that this would be cool for when you go to finish it, you know, you're going to twist that and it's going to stay right where you put it. So I do like that feature with it. And I haven't decided how to finish that off. So it's just waiting right now. And here's the thing. You're going to do something and then you want to use your loom again and you have to finish it before you can use it again. So that's kind of fun thing. This was made out of a rug. You can buy these shindy rugs in, well, I got mine in Five Below. And you take the rug apart and you have like just a whole entire bag of fibers. And a lot of them are like this chiffon, or I'm not sure what it is, but the colors are really pretty. And so I tore some of them. This I couldn't tear, but you know, you can totally tear fabric. And so what I was thinking was to make like the belly band for around the book. So, and I like that. And I might like sew on some charms or something so they're hanging down to weight it down. So, and then this one is just some yarn. Again, that ribbon yarn, and it comes in different widths. And so that's just woven on here. And I used some hemp cording that I had. Okay. So lots of possibilities, but let's just do the basic thing. All right. Now, I know Juliana's still here, and this somewhat freaks her out, but I like to, she's like weaving her thing all the way around and, you know, back and forth. I just tape mine down because what the point is, you don't want this to come undone because then your warps are going to be floppy and, you know, not working right. Now, I probably should not have started with this because this is a new color for me and it seems to feel a little different than the other cord that I have, but I'm going to give it a try. Now, another thing that someone suggested, I thought that is brilliant. If you wanted something with a longer cord at the end, you can just take this and loop it around the back and come around. And then when you've got your strings, you know, you're going to have this whole background here to use to end it, you know, whatever it is that you're working on. Now I'm going to go.
Super smart.
Yeah, I know. See, the more I work with it, the more people give me good ideas. So what I'm going to do, now you could do.
Amanda also said real fast, I salvage fabric from clothes that don't fit anymore.
Yes. Oh yeah, good, Amanda. Good plan. Destroy the evidence. That never happened. I was never that size. Okay, now I'm just going back and making sure that I have this nice and tight. I'm going to come around the back and make sure this is going through the loop here. Then I'm going to bring it up. Now, depending on what it is you're weaving, a lot of times I just leave one little space here. And I'm going to do four strands just to make it go a little quicker. Okay, but you can go all the way to the end if you want. It doesn't matter if you go over one that you've already used, these little, well, they're the big teeth. All right, so then I'm going to bring it up here, just making sure that I keep the tension strong the whole time. I'm going to wrap it around a couple times, and I'm going to bring it back here, and I'm going to take that tape and tape it down again. All right. If I can do that. Okay, there we go. All right. So I'm going to cut this off. I don't think I'm going to need that much. This is just a demo. So, all right. So now we've got it strung. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with fibers. Okay. I picked out these two because I thought it's getting to be fall. So I think these two go nicely together. And I found that the rayon is a nice feel. I think it's rayon. I'm not really sure, but try whatever you have. And just, and then I thought these beads matched nicely. So I just want to show you weaving it on one piece. So we're going to do the beading and the weaving in one shot. All right. I like to pick long pieces of this because I don't like to have the knots, as I mentioned. So we're going to do this first, and this is kind of a cool fuzzy yarn. I guess it's yarn, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to take my wooden
Fiber?
needle.
Yarny fiber stuff?
Yeah.
Textile?
Yeah, whatever it is. All right. And let's see. All right. So all we're going to do, basically, it's over, under, over, under. So we're going to go over the top one, under, over, under, and pull it. Now, some people like to tie it off. I don't really like to do that because I'm not sure how I'm going to end this. I don't know how long I'm going to make it. So I'm just going to let it sit there. And I don't know if any of you are knitters, but like it freaks me out when I have to take out knitting and I don't know what to do with it because it moves and it gets messed up. But this is just going to stay where you put it. So you don't have to worry that much. And the other reason I like to leave it unknotted is that if I want to move it up and down the weaving part here, I can. So I'm just going to quickly go over and under a couple times. And the other thing is you can choose how tight you want it to be. And Juliana, if you're still there, just, you know, throw anything in that you want to say. She is the master. I am just like playing, really, which is kind of fun.
Juliana had a pop off on the back side to talk, but I believe she's watching and she's in the chat.
Oh, so. Good. All right. All right.
Yeah,
so
she's still there, kind of.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you can see I'm just kind of going back and forth. And what you want to do is keep even tension at the ends of the rows so that if you slide it up and down or if you move it, they're all going to be the same width. But and when you're looking for yarn to do this with, you know, if you deliberately go out and buy it and you see a nice rainbow variegated design, just make sure that the repeat is fairly quick because otherwise you can have a whole thing of blue and then it turns pink. You know what I mean? So just see if you can see one end of the ribbon yarn or whatever it is and make sure that the repeat is pretty close. Okay. So let's just do a couple more here. And also, if you want more information, we're going to be doing a lot more videos now that I'm home for a minute. And we'll be doing more. In fact, I went up to put earrings on for this video. Wait a minute, let me take them and show you because it gave me an idea. And now everywhere you look, you're going to have ideas. Isn't this cool? I mean, this you could be weaving on here, making these little flowers. Wouldn't that be cool? And then just loop it around and make it into an earring. So you can see possibilities everywhere for using this. And it's so simple, over, under, you know?
The Loom really does make it easy to to feel like you've done something very creative and artistic. Can you bump up the Loom a tiny bit on the screen? Because we're just the
Oh,
very
sorry. Yes,
thank you,
sorry
thank
about
you,
that.
thank you. It's all good. I know you're paying attention to what you're doing. I got it.
I
I'll
know.
watch.
Well, I should
You're great,
move
you're great.
my camera back, but I'm afraid to bump it. And see, now look at
Can
all
you
that.
show us how to use the little tiny comb? I know you're using your
Yeah,
fingers, but you're kind of at the
yes.
point where how would you use the
So
comb?
you would just kind of squish it together like that and see how tight that can look, or
Ah,
you can stretch it out, you know, and make it go longer. So it's up to you. If you like it tight, I kind of do like it tight, but yeah, this is what the comb is for. So cute. All
that is
right.
cute.
So let's just do a
And you
couple.
don't have to pick just rainbow colors.
No, no, you
You're
can do
gravitating
solid.
towards that, but you can pick whatever you like.
Right. Yeah. You can do solid. You can do, I just like the rainbow because it gives a lot of ideas for color, you know, and you can match the beads to it, but it's nice for a class. But yeah, if you're trying to match something else or just don't like all that color, then just do a, you know, solid or whatever. Okay. I'm just going to do one more because what
You
I
keep
want.
saying you're just going to do one more and you keep going. I feel like you're kind of getting into a groove, and I feel like that's kind of the point. You just
It
you just
is.
get going and you get going, and then you just kind of do one more, and you get it's like reading a book. Just one more page, just one more
Yeah,
chapter.
one more. But okay, I won't do that to you because this is a video. But and I tend to do that too. I'll use that because I'm a shortcut person. But okay, so that would be the next thing. You know, so you just end it like this. I just leave it there because I may want to go in. I might do one row of beads and then want to switch and do this again. So I'm not going to cut it or take it off now because I'm just not sure. So the next thing we're going to do is my needle. I have found that the best size needle after buying, I am not kidding, 900 packages of needles, that this milliner's needle are the nicest, you know, craft size, that things that you can get. This is from Hobby Lobby, but the point is you want needles that are thin enough to go through the beads. So let's talk about the beads for a minute. This is my little bead mat.
Is that just foam?
Sorry?
Or like
Yeah,
wool?
no. It's something called bosal. It's like a velvety, like a you know, the blankets that they're like, I don't know how to describe them. It's like a blanket almost. It's fuzzy.
The old school, not the fleece blankets. We're talking like old, like when
Not
you had
fleece.
kids and when I was a little girl blanket kind of thing.
It's not old. It's like synthetic. But what all it does is it just keeps your beads in one spot so they're not flying around your table. That's all.
But but it's not fleece.
No, it is not. Here. Okay.
Oh my God, that hand.
I know.
Oh my God, you're goofy.
I know. I am. All right. Now this is I'm not sure what it is. This is something.
Oh, Amanda's saying it's grandma's fake velvet blanket.
Yeah, that's right. It is. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a piece of this. This is invisible. You could use like fishing wire, but get something that is going to fit through your beads. All right. And this might be hard for you to see because I'm using the clear, which I should have thought about, but that's all right. It's not going to show up.
All right, I have to pull. I'm at the age I have to pull glasses out to be able to do that now. I can't do it with just my regular eyes.
I am on my monovision kick where I have one contact in and one contact out, and it works great. Can't tie a knot.
You just close one eye?
Yeah. No, you don't close it. You just have the one contact in. So you're like, I have my distance one in, and then my close one, my other eye is fine for seeing close. Huh. Still can't tie a knot though. That's what I don't like about this. If you just had like a quilting cotton, like a quilt thread, you could use that. But
well, you could also use like the friendship bracelet, the I cannot talk.
Wax linen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also like all the stuff to make the friendship bracelets or, you know, any of those kinds of
Yes.
Ah, there's a name for it, and it's gone poof. I mean, come on, audience, help me out.
Yeah, help her out. It's a bad feeling. You got the word, but you.
The thread, it's all the different colors. There's a entire rainbow
embroidery
of different
floss.
colors, but it's thin,
Yeah.
and they come in like there's 6 of them in a strand or 5 in a strand. You can pull out
Yeah.
1 or pull out 2.
I got
That
it.
stuff.
Embroidery floss.
Thank you.
Okay. Finally, I get something. Okay.
Oh, the words are not coming.
All right. So I have a knot at this end. Hopefully, I did a double knot. Hopefully that's going to be enough, but we'll see when we put our bead through. Also, I should say that I have these on my Etsy store, and I just updated the listing today. We had a bigger kit in it. So this is just for what you're going to get is the loom, the needle, the comb. You're going to get one. Well, here it is. This is what it looks like. So if you wanted to order it, you would get the seam binding, little bag of beads, the stuff to weave it with, and this. So it's $39.99, and you are going to get your 10% off on that. So that is the cheapest we've had it. So if
so keep in mind, there is a coupon code that you can get over on the Retreat website. When you go, if you head over to the Retreat website, it's all listed at the top. There's giveaways, there's schedule, and then one of the other banners at the top of the Retreat website says coupons. So scroll down till you find Eileen's. You can click on it, and the code is right there. Somebody's asking, are these seed beads?
Yes, these are seed beads. These are 6/0 seed beads. Yes. Hi, Karen. Okay, so I have loaded 3 beads onto my needle. So just keep them on the needle. Now you're going to place them under your strands like that. And you're going to
Why 3?
Well, because I have room for 3 here. I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, if I did 4 or 5 strands, I would do 4 beads. You just want them to fit in these little slots here. Okay, so I'm going to pull that. This was like magic when I saw this. Now, also, you could tie that on there, but for the same reason that I didn't do that, I'm not going to tie it. I'm just going to leave it here. You can tuck it in and it'll secure it. Now, I'm going to go on the top.
You're talking about the knot, right?
Yes,
the knot is what you're not.
Okay. The knot is right here. Yeah.
Got it.
So now I'm going to go on top of these strands, and I'm going to lock them in. And this is tricky because I'm holding this up. Yes, I think I got it. And I'm going to bring that through. And you'll see it's staying on there just fine. Okay. So now I'm trying to match the colors of this, with the pink and gold. You can pick whatever colors. I think that would go. And the seed beads, depending on the quality, they're going to be all different widths. So just try to find ones that are about the same. And I'm going to do a purple. So don't let it be said that I never did a purple. That one's not good enough.
She's grabbing purple, people. Oh my God, it's the purple. It's the purple invasion.
All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold these beads into the middle for coming from underneath. Move my hand. Now I have locked in this thread up here, and then I'm going to, it's hard to do from here, but can you see that? I'm coming around to the top, and I'm going to lock that in. Okay. So now we have these pretty little beads that match or go along with that. And I'm just going to do a couple more rows of that. There's not really a good green here. I'll do a gold. Got to do an aqua for the sake of it. And another pink. Okay. So these are just random, but you could do a pattern in here.
And I'm sure there's all kinds of patterns online, or you can come up with your own patterns.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of options here for creating all kinds of cool designs on this.
Yes. And yeah, it's much less awkward when I don't have a camera to worry about bumping into. But you can
also feel like since This is so small. This is fun. That's easy. Like you said, you had this on your cruise. You can
Oh,
take this
yeah.
on a road trip. You
Yes.
can, you know, take this to a creative event or retreat or anything
Right.
like that.
This
So
is
there's
a 99-cent case that I got at Walmart or Target with the school supplies. It fits perfectly. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, you can have everything you need in that little case.
well, that's good to know. Man, that's like the perfect little carry case for it.
I know.
Or
And they
storage
just
case for when you're working on it and then you don't want to
Right.
finish it or you're, you know, whatever. Put it back in there, close
Exactly.
it up, and then you can have stacks of your looms in the cases.
Yes, you could. And I do. Yep. But anyway, you get the idea here. Let me just do a couple more rows. I like to finish on the same side. I don't know why. I just do that, but so usually I bring this over. It is a little awkward, but it seems to work the best. Some people work a different way. They'll work this way. So it's whatever you want to do.
I'm going to do a quick shout out to Amanda. We had Pear Blossom Press as an earlier sponsor. So if you missed that sponsor video earlier today, you can go check that out. It is on replay on, you can check out the schedule page down below and you can click on that and watch that replay. But she placed an order earlier today and it is already shipped. Amanda is amazing. So
She is
wow,
amazing.
she's on top of it.
Yes, she is. All right. Well, I'm done with this. Okay. So now let's move that out of the way. And yeah, this is what Juliana was talking about, where people get nervous about how to finish it. And I'm one of them. So I'm just going to do a couple more rows here. And I'm going to leave a little gap there and just do a couple more rows so we can take this off and I can show you how you can do it. Because there's kind of a cool tip. Yes, Amanda, thank you. I got my little sample. It's so cute. Okay, you know what? I think I went through the wrong way.
Can you scoot that up a little bit? We can't
Yep.
see what you're doing at the
Sorry,
bottom.
sorry,
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
No.
That's what I'm here for. I'm your production
All
on the
right.
back end.
I'm glad that you're there watching because this is further ahead on my desk than I usually do. All right, and I'm going to hurry this because I know we have, if you want me to dye that stuff.
Well, yes, just to give an idea of the process of, to show how you went from white to a fun, colorful ribbon to make your own at home if you can't find it.
Yes, it is so cool. You will want to know that. Okay. All right. So let's say, you know, that's enough. All right. So when you want to take your loom piece off, you will just take all of your little strings off. And sometimes, depending on the material, and this is why I did not make a double knot here because it's kind of hard to undo. But you're just going to untie this and kind of push that off with your nail or a tool or whatever you have. Get it off. And don't worry, like I said, it's like with the knitting, you know, it's all going to come apart. No, it's just going to stay right like this. So don't worry. I am going to just leave it. And then you're going to take the whole thing off the loom. Okay. So now we have our piece with all these strings sticking out everywhere. But if you wanted to add beads or anything, you could do that on these ends. And one tip that I like to do, so I only have to finish one end, is I take everything that I've woven and just kind of push it down to these two loops. So this is going to close it in. And so you're just going to kind of move this down carefully. Can you guys see that okay?
I keep putting my microphone on mute, so I'm not over talking over you.
Oh.
But there is a question. Could we use the leather strands that we were playing around with yesterday?
Yes. Well, they are a little bit thick, but you know, as long as your warps are like 1 millimeter, you could weave that. Actually, I do have, wait a minute. I did do that on one of them. And I think that was the same. Yeah, I think that was what I used yesterday. So yeah, this is a little wider. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strands and just wove. And then to finish that, I just kind of glued these and tucked them in. But yeah, yes, you could. All right, and then this we're just gonna bring down, and we still have all our strings attached and everything, but you can see that your one ending here is finished already. So you don't have to tie that off or anything. You might want to tighten that a little bit. So there you have that. Now I don't have time, but I would actually get a like a tapestry needle and weave these fibers underneath and just snip them. Maybe add a little bit of this Loctite glue. This is really good. It keeps things in place, but don't do it until you're ready. Okay, and then the top, you can knot that and do kind of like a little tassel end, or you could loop it around, make a keychain out of it. You could, you know, this is where it gets endless and your brain goes, ah! So
Sky's the limit. Put on your creativity hat and have fun.
Right, right. And post in the group, because if you go to the Eileen Hull fan club, we have a bunch of people there that have the loom, and I know we want to explore it more. So that's where you can ask the questions, or, you know, show what you've been making. We would love to see, because, you know, we all get inspired by each other. So I hope you'll do that. Again, if you want to get one of these, you can go over to my Etsy store, and they are on sale. Now, Karen Raimondo, she bought one, so I'm going to give her the discount. She didn't know, because I just did the sale today, so I will credit her. So, okay. Are we ready to do the seam binding?
Absolutely.
Okay. So for this mess,
well, show us what the finished product looks like.
Yes.
So, to give an idea of where it will go. There we go.
Okay.
Higher, a little higher on the screen.
Yeah.
Bump it up a little bit.
Put it.
There you go.
All right.
Yay.
So let me move stuff out of the way here. So you're going to need a mister, water mister. And I've got rainbow colored inks kind of in the Roy G. Biv. So that's the order that I'm gonna, and I used, instead of, you know, I was, you know, I kind of picked my own colors. It's kind of Roy G. Biv. Okay.
It's
so
Roy G. Biv adjacent.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do, usually I do wear gloves just because this is going to get pretty inky. So you might want to do that. And I'm using one of the storage bags from a die or mat board or something to make myself like a little folder to work in. So I'm just going to cut along the bottom here so this opens, so that when I do all this squishing, it's not going to go all over the place. I didn't cut that very well, but that's all right. Okay. So we have a little folder, and that's not going to be great for, I hope it's not too reflecting, but it's really
You're fine.
nice.
You're fine.
Okay.
But
All
you
right.
could also do this, like if you've got one of your glass mats, you can do on that.
Right.
If you've
Oh,
got
yeah.
one of those silicone mats, you can just wipe up and clean. Something that is non-porous and you can wipe up and clean, or something that you could just throw away when you're done. So you could do a layer of paper towels and then keep the paper towels for your journal pages.
That's true. You could do that. All right. Now what I'm doing is I've got about, I don't know how many yards of seam binding here, but I like to do more than, you know, a small batch if I'm going to make the mess, you know. So I have just taken that and kind of folded it over and over and over until I arrive at a piece that is about that size. Now I'm going to take my water bottle and just spray it down, not a lot, but kind of disperse this a little bit so I get all of the layers. Okay, this
Somebody's
is not
asking a question. We're using the Catherine Puller reinkers, but
right.
could you use alcohol inks?
I have not tried it with alcohol inks, but I bet you could.
Yeah, I bet you easily could, for
Yeah.
sure. And
Okay.
it doesn't have to be, we're using Catherine Puller inks because she's one of our sponsors for the retreat. And so
Right.
we're promoting her. But if you have other reinkers from other brands, the concept is the same.
They're all going to work. The trick is do not use too much. I use like 3 to 4 drops. And I tell people that in class and then they don't do it. And it gets, it's very saturated.
So ... not a lot. We were just talking about that earlier today. ... not a lot. Don't go overdo it.
Yes, that is a good motto, but you know, whatever. All right, so, and I'm leaving white space in between because this is going to bleed. All right. So I'm kind of going like, that's not really a third, but kind of, you know, there may be a color that you really like and you want more of, so you can kind of highlight that. Mine will be this color, of course, and not this color. Nothing against Grape Crush, but okay. So we got a little of that. All right.
And you don't have to do rainbow. You want to do just blues and greens. You want to do warm tones.
Right.
You want to do 2 colors.
Yeah.
You want to do just 1 color.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do. All right. Now you're going to give that a pretty good spritz. And you're going to kind of mush it around. And you could use saran wrap. You could use a Ziploc bag.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you like.
I'm loving the idea that you're upcycling something that would have gone in the trash anyway and not pulling out something else.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So now, you know, turn it around a little. If you need to do more, you can. But what I would do is just squish it again and make that ink transfer down to the next level. And you can kind of toss it around a little. And if you need to do more, you can. But the thing about it is, and this is mild, this is nothing. This could be a lot worse. You know, maybe you need a little bit more here in the back. But I would really say try not to go crazy with it because it's just a mess. So what is that color?
Messes are fun sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Depending on where you want to go.
I know.
If you've got to go out to a formal dinner, you may not want to do the messy craft that day.
Not. Or you wear gloves. Yeah.
There's that too.
It really
is. Somebody mentioned, Tori said she just ordered Eileen in quotation marks. So
excited.
excited.
Thank you. All right. So this is how you do it. And then what you would do is try to spread this out somewhere, like, you know, on the deck, or put newspaper out or something so that the colors are not overlapping, because they will bleed into each other. If you want it to be a truly kind of variegated color, you know, try not to have these things touching each other. But you actually could just leave this sitting somewhere for, you know, put it out in the sun. And right now that would dry fast, because like when we did it in Texas, remember, it was dry in like a minute.
We went on our back deck and they had a railing, and we just wove it around the railing so that the strands, I'm going to put my screen on for a quick minute, so the strands were hanging. So we wove around a railing and then they hung separately. And I want to say within 15 minutes, they were bone dry. Now, and it was actually a rainy, humid weekend. That weekend we held the retreat, and it wasn't horribly hot for Texas.
Yeah.
You should come here now. You'll really feel heat. But, or a week ago was crazy. You were like 105. It was nuts. But yeah, but what about throwing it in the dryer? Probably not the best idea, because it would get.
Well, get on your dryer, but you know, now you can see here, this was laying against one of those colors and it did transfer. So just keep it in mind. And up here too, you can see, if you want it to dry just like this, I would take it the way it was when we finished with it, put it in the sun and just let it dry. And you will have this really pretty seam binding that you can dye to match anything that you have. So even if you wanted to do one color, you know, if you wanted the purple or you wanted the aqua, you know, you could dye the whole thing. And then one more tip, and I don't want to do it because it is still very wet, but if you take it when it's like almost dry and you crumple it up and you just leave it in a wad, I do that mainly when it's just one color. You just leave it and then let it dry the rest of the way. It will stay crinkled. It's really pretty. Yes, your heat gun, that's a good idea too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a smart idea.
Yeah, we could do that, but it's kind of loud. But yeah, I think this is really fun. And
I guess I'm not the only one. I turn the heat gun on. I'm like, man, that's loud. And I don't like it. I'd rather let it air dry if possible.
Yeah, me too. Especially on a live. So
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just kind of leaving this in its own little spot. And this is going to be a nice length of seam binding that you can use in any of your projects and to weave. So this is the finished one. I don't really want to touch anything now. Wait a minute. Let me show you.
Oh man, these hands are going to be everywhere.
Screenshot. Here's what I learned in my retreat.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
We're creeping some people out too, I know for sure.
I'm sorry, really? They are creepy, but they're funny at the same time.
They're creepy funny.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Similar. I may have used some different colors, but that's the basic idea of how you do it. And then I just wove it, and I wove it pretty loosely. And I'm thinking I want to add a charm on the end of here to kind of weight it. And I think that would be a cute bookmark or some kind of embellishment for a journal. So there you go. That's how it's done.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. You want to flip your camera around and then we're going to sign off.
All right. I'm sorry we went long. I know.
Oh, no, we're fine. The last video of the retreat is, here, let me do this real fast. The last video of the retreat is an edited video, so you can watch that at your leisure. There's no more lives left for today. Okay. So sorry, my kids are getting home from school here in a few minutes, and it gets crazy around here, and I've got softball practice tonight, and I got a kid who forgot to get he's texting me, so that's why I was on mute part of the time. So here I am talking to myself, and Eileen's I'm like, does she not hear me? And I'm like, no, she's not hearing me because I muted myself because I'm madly texting my son. He's needing me to sign something because he didn't do well in his he's a freshman in high school, and it was his first high school test, and he didn't do very well. I'm spilling the tea on my kid. And he did all the corrections, and he went up to school for tutorials, and he needed me to sign the corrections so he could do the retest, partly so the parents know that the child failed the test. Yeah, it's great. It's keeping everybody accountable. Yeah. Well, he had a football game last night and didn't get home until 10:30, and he was exhausted, and he was tired this morning, and I went to bed early, pooped as anything yesterday. So he's texting me all day, and I haven't been looking at my phone because we've been doing the retreat all day. And he's like, Mom, please come up, because he wants to retest, and he can't fail or he can't play football. And
there you go.
It's just, I got to put my mom hat back on.
Yeah, you do that. It's important.
Sorry, I just went on a rant there for a minute. Yeah, anybody else relate? Does anybody else relate to where I'm at? It is life. It is absolute life. Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, there was so much in this little fun video in this amazing video. We got to play with Juliana, and she taught us all about her amazing adventures in the world of the Jewel Loom and its creation and its birth and all of that. And don't forget, you can go over and check out Juliana in 2 hours on her channel. I'm going to put the link to her YouTube video or to her YouTube channel over in the Facebook group, and everybody is welcome to join the Facebook group for the Makers Retreat. If you go down to the schedule or to the giveaways, which are linked down in the video of all the videos we're streaming live on right now, you can jump over, and at the top banner, it says the Facebook group, and that's the link that you can use to join over. And plus you can pop around, and their coupons are over there, especially for Eileen's store. We have 10%. She has 10% off right now, and that's only through I believe early next week. So if you want to get anything now, there's Pear Blossom Press coupons, there's all kinds of fun coupons, and there's some other fun things that you can pop around and see what the schedule is also for the next 2 days for the retreat as well. So, but yeah, we learned how to use the loom. We learned how to start it, how to weave it, how to do beads on it, how to dye. I mean, wow, we did a lot.
I'm exhausted. I need a nap. All right.
That's why I went to bed at 8 o'clock last night.
Well,
Because I was pooped.
yeah, that's good. Well,
Not
we'll
sure I
be
can
having
do that early tonight. We got softball at 7, but
Right.
well, maybe
Well,
9 o'clock I can swing
all
that
right.
time.
Get your rest.
Well, thank you so much for
Mm,
jumping in and showing us all these amazing
Yeah,
techniques and
sure.
for also being a part of the retreat and
I'm
helping
happy
out
to
with
be
all
here.
the fun aspects of it. It is truly,
Fun.
truly wonderful that you've been a part of this entire event. And thank you, everybody who has been
Yes.
watching all day today. You guys, this retreat would not happen without you and without your interaction during our lives and dealing with our goofiness. Because we are a bunch of goofy ladies. So don't forget to go ahead over if you have the paid ticket for the retreat. There is one more class left today that is a pre-recorded class, but you could watch that at any time. All the pre-recorded classes are available at any time for life to watch indefinitely. The retreat is open. You can still buy a ticket for the retreat. The link to get your ticket or to get your pass, however you want to call it, is down in the information section. And there are still 2 kits available. So if you'd like to grab yourself a kit, which includes the supplies to do all the classes that we are doing in the retreat. This is a bonus class, so these supplies are not in that kit. But a lot of our other supplies that we've been doing in all of our classes are in there, including how to do the journal and all the stuff to make the junk journal with Eileen. Those are a couple of her other classes. Plus she has a tassel class and you're getting some of the leather that we were playing with yesterday.
Yes.
And that's just Eileen's classes I've talked about so far. You haven't even talked about mine or Cassie's
Yeah.
classes. There's so much jam-packed into this kit. So snag them before they are gone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm good now. I've said it all. I've said it all.
All right. You did it.
All right. Well,
All
thank
right.
you, everybody. And again, thank you, Eileen, for coming and showing us all things Jewel Loom. I truly appreciate
Anytime.
it.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.